All right, so as I make my thing, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk a little bit. We're gonna talk about setting boundaries. We're gonna talk about setting boundaries and how it relates to your overall health and your ability to have a fit lifestyle. First, let's identify what are poor boundaries. Here it is. And I'm reading this from you. This is something that I like. This was from Psyched Mommy, Instagram's page. You hate letting people down. This is what you tend to do. You tend to hate letting people down. You struggle with making decisions. You avoid speaking up about your feelings. You feel taken advantage of. You feel responsible for the happiness of others. You give away too much of your time. You agree with others to keep the peace. You say yes even when you don't want to. You feel burned out. You feel a lot of guilt when taking care of yourself. I have felt all of these things, some all at once, some at different times and stages of my life. And it wasn't until I gave myself permission to set boundaries that I really started to have more peace in my life, have more happiness in my life, be content with who I am as a person. I don't want to change who I am as a person. I like that I'm compassionate. I like that I'm giving. I like that I love to help people. I like that I enjoy the things that I do without expecting anything in return. However, I did not like the way that I was feeling. I did not like that I felt like I couldn't say no. I didn't like that I felt like I had to just allow people to say what, just to do and say whatever it is that they wanted to say because maybe they were my family members, or maybe it was, a parent, or maybe it was just whatever, right? I had to set boundaries. I'm almost 40 years old. I have my own children. I have a marriage. I have a business. I cannot function like a little girl. I cannot function like the little girl that wants approval from the people that she loves, respects, and cares about. At some point, I need to be my own approval. And I'm saying me because I don't want to say you, because I don't really know where you stand. But I can tell you where I stood and what made me see that I had very poor boundaries. I was burning myself out. I was burning the candle at both ends. And it wasn't for the benefit of me. It was to benefit other people. It was to make other people happy. Well, guess what? What I learned. Every bit of sacrifice that I made, everything I set back to help someone else be happy because I felt like I couldn't say no, because I felt like making them happy was going to validate me. Some of those people never valued it. It was nothing to them because it wasn't their time. It wasn't their effort. It wasn't their energy. So they didn't value it the way that I valued it. So then what does that lead to? Feelings of being unappreciated. Feelings of being taken advantage of, right? Feelings of really honestly feeling like everything that I did was in vain. But not so, because it's a learning experience. This is where life's experiences exceed any book that you could read to learn about self-care, self-love. Now, let me tell you the benefits of setting boundaries. Once I started to set boundaries, I was able to focus on me, because I also came to the realization that I can only love from where I'm at. And if I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, if I feel like I can never say no, if I feel like I am bound to somebody, or that I can't ever express my feelings, or I can't ever have a productive conversation about the way someone has made me feel, I lose sight of me. And then I carry all that. For some of us, that looks like overeating. For some of us, that looks like a sedentary lifestyle. That looks like us just being a zombie in front of the television. For some of us, that leads to more drinking, more alcohol consumption, maybe even the use of drugs. And worse than all that, always being negative, always having something negative to say, always having a negative outlook, never looking at what's actually around us and in front of us, neglecting the people that are actually loving on us. So once I began to set those boundaries, And I started to put a focus on me. Just that alone. No dieting, no special food, no special pill, nothing radical and crazy. My body started to release water. It started to release those toxins. I experienced more weight loss and more progress in my health the last 100 pounds or so, maybe even let's say the last 80 pounds or so, than I had ever experienced. And because my self-love and my self-care and me has become my greatest priority, I've been in a position to keep that weight off. I haven't teeter-tottered. I haven't flip-flopped. I haven't said, okay, I'm going to let it go and then I pick it back up. Okay, I'm going to take care of myself and then nope, I'm not going to take care of myself anymore. It has been work, and it has taken 4 or 5 years for me to get to this space. But every single day, I made a little bit of progress. Every single day, I was saying less and less negative things about myself. Every single day, I was taking more and more time for myself. Every day, I was giving myself permission to put me first, because I realized that it's not selfish to put me first. It's actually saying how much I love and care about my family if I take time to see about me first. Because as a woman, I control the energy and the environment in my household. And if my energy is no good, what do you think I'm a birth? What am I nurturing? Right? And so when my house and my kids are acting crazy, when the energy is bad, when my husband is feeling agitated, or when he doesn't, he's like, man, I was having a good day. Then all of a sudden, like, I don't even want to be here. I just want to be out in the streets running around, or I don't want to be at home, or I don't want to be around you. Energy. As women, we reproduce. And that doesn't stop just in the womb. It starts and it continues wherever we're at. We nurture, we birth things, and we can either birth things that sustain and create life, or we can birth things that sustain and create death. So, putting me first, setting boundaries, giving myself permission to do that, help me to continue to see progress in my health and in my fitness and in my weight loss goals. And you know what was really cool about that? Whenever you're trying to lose a significant amount of weight, a lot of times as a dieter, you tend to focus only on the scale, only on the weight, right? But when you take this different self-care approach, you're so focused on you being in a peaceful space and you having everything that you need to do the things that you want to do, that you're no longer stressed about your weight. Therefore, releasing the weight becomes easier. Does that make sense? Some people don't believe me. Let me tell you, I have tried to explain this concept for several years, or not several years, but let's say 2 or 3 years to people. And you know what they do? They brush it off and like, oh, okay, yeah, all right. So I realized that the clients that I get and the clients that join my program are going to be clients that have already experienced the dieting for a number of years. They've already experienced the failure. And the clients that I have are going to be the clients that are mentally and emotionally fatigued. They're tired. And now at that place, they're ready to accept the things that they need to change on the inside so they can see how it manifests on the outside. And they can see how it manifests within their house. And they can see how they influence the people around them. So you can take it or leave it, but at some point you're going to take this concept, whether it's from me or it's from somebody else. Setting your boundaries, putting your self-care and self-love first is going to create a space for you to live your best life and be the best version of yourself as a woman and all of your other roles. So, if you are suffering from any of the symptoms I mentioned before when it comes to creating boundaries, start working on those. See that you're valuable. See that you're worthy of happiness. See that you're worthy of being valued by the people around you. See that it's okay for you to express your feelings, not in a way where you're tearing people down, but it's okay for you to set boundaries and say, I don't like the way this is making me feel. And when you say that, make sure that you're not the one instigating and you're not the one stirring all of these negative emotions. Make sure that what you speak to other people is in a manner that you don't mind being spoken back to. Don't use my video to say, I'm going to cut this person off because I don't like the way they make me feel, when you have damaged relationships or when you have allowed your words to be poisonous and venomous. If everybody around you has an issue with you, if everybody around you is avoiding you, where's the problem lie? Because not everybody can be the same, right? Maybe, but most likely no. Sometimes we have to allow people to figure things out and to figure themselves out. And we have to give them space to do that. For some people, they may only be in your life for a season. For some people, it's a lifetime. But in this moment, they need the time to heal themselves. They need the time to see their own value. So when they step back into your life, now you're on the same frequency. Now your energy is shared because they're no longer in a self-destructive mode and mad at you because you're in a building and enhancing a loving self mode, right? So that's my spiel for today. Self-care, setting boundaries. The results of setting boundaries are far greater than just the internal side, but that is the most important side. It also shows in how your body gives itself permission to release the toxins, to release anything that's not good for us. You literally end up healing yourself.